So we're moving the salt lick. We'll tell you why in a little bit. But Clint can't have any more of the salt. Good morning. I just wanted to give you a lamb update today. We're going to be posting this early, probably tomorrow, but wanted to kind of talk with you today about the lambs. And so since we're talking about the lambs, I thought I would bring you up with me. I'm gonna go grab some hay, and then we're gonna go up to the lambs, and then later we'll sit and talk about our plans for the lambs this winter. But I thought, let's go look at the chickens, make sure they have scratch, and get some hay for the lambs. Yucky water. We gotta get the fence turned off. We're heading up to the lambs. So we're gonna make sure they have water and some fresh apple orchard hay. And check on Clink.
Alright. No more salt lick.
Alright, so we're moving the salt lick. We'll tell you why in a little bit. But Clint can't have any more of the salt. And so we're removing it. I need him to drink as much water as possible. I didn't bring up the bottle
Oh, yeah.
of water.
You want me to go grab one?
If you could. It's on the counter.
There we go. Alright, so we're gonna try and get Clank his bottle of water so he can get some hydration.
him a bottle of water. He was having muscle spasms yesterday, so I did some research. And he's eating a lot of salt. And he's not eating food, so he's getting too much salt in his body. Which is why we removed the salt. One of the reasons why we removed the salt. This is a good sign though that he's sucking on this. Water.
Yeah.
So I need him to start eating. Hopefully this will be the trick. His head in there. Hey, he's starving and he wants to eat it. This is gonna feel good on your hands after that ice water.
Oh yeah.
Well, good morning. And
Good morning.
we wanted to sit and have a fireside chat on our porch when it's freezing outside. But who doesn't like a good fire? Anyway, it definitely helps keep our hands warm while we're out here. We wanted to talk to you about a few things. Definitely an update on the lambs, and then just where we are at with Minty, and then kind of our standards that we have far as how we deal with animals on our farm regarding sickness and stuff. So we should start with the lambs. As you guys all know, that both Bobble and Clink were sick, and we found them to be sick a few weeks ago, and they stopped eating, and they were really lethargic, and their heads were hanging low, and their bellies really stuck out. And when I checked on them, I noticed Clink first. His head was hanging really low, and he was very lethargic and stuff. So I checked their eyes to see where if they were anemic, and they were, which means they have a parasite load. So I started treating them for parasites, which we do all natural methods. So we used garlic, crushed garlic, and apple cider vinegar to drench them, and that has worked. They still have a little bit of parasite load, so we've got to keep drenching them, but we don't have to do it every day. So then that still wasn't taking care of their symptoms, and so we gave them Nutri-Drench and molasses water. And Nutri-Drench is just liquid vitamins for lambs, and we gave them anti-bloat medicine that's all natural, and that seemed to work for Bobble. Bobble bounced right back. He is cantankerous. He's full of spit and vinegar. He thinks that he is top lamb, which right now he is. And Bobble was always secondary when it came to him and Clank. Clank was the alpha lamb, I guess is how you would say it, the pack lamb. Anyway, so, or is it flock lamb? It's not pack lamb, that's a dog.
Yeah, it's like a wolf.
One of my hairs on your chin. Anyway.
Clank just ran Bobble off.
He did.
Or maybe it's the other way around.
I think it's the other way around.
Anyway.
So, anyway, Bobble is doing great. There's an animal out in the woods over there. I don't know which animal it is. But anyway, so, but Clank has not recovered. In fact, Clank has gotten worse. Clank still is not eating. It's about 2 weeks now, or almost 2 weeks. And he's lost a tremendous amount of weight. But the one thing that Clank has always been doing is drinking water and eating his salt lick.
Yeah.
So the other day I was, just we've been racking our brains trying to figure out what's going on with Clank, because Bobble has bounced back. They no longer have bloat. Their parasite load is very minimal, if at all. And so there isn't anything that makes sense. We've checked his mouth. He's able to drink. He just will not eat. But he will eat salt. So I started doing some research the other day because I'm concerned about his salt intake without food when he's not eating. And whenever I look up there and he is out, he's eating salt. So I found out that there's a thing that lambs can get called salt toxicity. And so the salt lick that the lambs have is a Redmond salt brick. It has minerals in it, right? Salt, selenium, magnesium, and anyway, but it's kind of like an all flock block of salt. So it's for goats, sheep, horses, cows, whatever. And that's, we got it at our local Tractor Supply. And it's been a good salt block. However, the copper that's in those is more set for horses and cows than it is sheep. Yeah. And they can get an overload of that salt because the mineral content in those blocks are more designed for horses and cows, not goats and sheep. Which I did not know, and Edward did not know, and we're learning, So we removed the salt block because yesterday when I went out there, I noticed that Clank was having tremors in his muscles. So these are his symptoms. He's a complete loss of appetite, very lethargic, easy to catch. I mean, he doesn't escape, he doesn't fight you or anything like that. Very weak, tremors in his muscles, wants to lay down a lot. I haven't seen him go to the bathroom at all, but he hasn't been eating, so I don't expect too much. But when he does go, he is urinating, which means you know, he's drinking fluid and he's eating salt. So imagine he's very dehydrated.
Yeah.
So we removed the salt block and gave him a bottle of water. So the treatment that I've been able to find, and if you guys can know anything else, let us know in the comments for sure. But the treatment for it is water. So we removed the salt block and we gave Clank a bottle of water this morning, which he wasn't suckling on it, which is not normal. Clank is a major suckler, but he's super weak. So I was just kind of squeezing it into his throat and he was swallowing it. So he drank a whole bottle worth of water this morning. And so I'll probably give him 3 bottles a day of water in addition to his water bucket, which he is drinking. And that's the only solution that I found to this issue. Our hope is that he recovers quickly because we are not going to be calling a vet, and we are not going to be administering antibiotics or anything like that. I think his rumens in his belly are off, and so where we're at with that is we gave him some, you know, a little bit of dark beer, like a cup or half a cup, not even much at all. With all the fizz, it was flat. But we did that to kind of boost his rumens because he hasn't been eating. He doesn't have rumens in his belly after having bloat to digest food in the first place. So we did that and it didn't seem to do anything, but I don't know what I was expecting from that.
Well, it was something that was recommended to try and jumpstart his appetite, and
Maybe we didn't give enough. I don't know. I just didn't want to make her lamb drunk, which might not be a bad thing for him. But anyway, so that's where we're at right now with Clank and Bobble. You know, Clank is in serious condition. He can't lose too much more weight. The salt toxicity, if you read up on it, he has all the symptoms except he has not had seizures that I know of, but he's probably, you know, in the list of severity and symptoms, he's on the more severe side of symptoms, and he has been for a little bit. We just didn't know what it was, and I think that salt toxicity is exactly what it is that we're dealing with. I think we had 2 things, right? I think he had bloat. And then I think we had 3 things: bloat, parasite load, and then salt toxicity. So we were, you know, and not, you know, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but we really, having Clank and Bobble was our first out of the chicken realm of farming animal that we got, and we are learning a tremendous amount of information regarding sheep and lambs and herds and minerals and stuff like that. The other thing that we want to talk to is Clank and Bobble are feeder lambs. So they're both male. They both have been cut or castrated. They are lamb meat. And though we got them as bottle lambs, and so there's some attachment there, so it makes it a little bit more difficult.
yeah, a little bit.
I think in this type of conversation. However, this is the best place to learn, right, with bottle lambs, and so they are our meat. So that is why we will not give antibiotics or anything like that, because eventually we are going to eat and stuff. So it's not that we're opposed to treating them, it's just we only are going to do certain things. There's a host of reasons why our family will not eat meat that's been medicated or have antibiotics, and that's a whole nother conversation. But here on our farm, Edward and I have decided that we won't be treating our animals that we're going to be ingesting at some point. or using as breeding stock for treating them with any like medicated things at all. We'll call and treat them if they're sick the best we know how, just like we've done with Bobble and Clank, and try to get them back on course. But on our farm, the animal really needs to recover, especially the breeding stock. We want to have animals that, especially in our breeding stock, that are going to be very strong and healthy and high immune systems, and they need to be able to do that to sustain. In addition to that, when they give birth, they need to be able to do that whole process unassisted, as far as pushing the babies out and things like that. Same with we're not doing any artificial insemination or anything like that. Everything has to happen the way that God designed it to happen, because that's the standard in which we want to operate on our farm.
Yeah, I think we want to make sure that things are being done right and done correctly with our animals, and really make sure that, like she said, that everything is happening naturally. We're not filling our animals full of medications or antibiotics or anything like that, and try having to kind of prop them up or supplement them with different aids in order for them to just function on a daily basis. So the idea is with our animals, we're always going to try and do what's best for our animal, whatever they need, in terms of caring for them and everything. But for animals that are meat, yes, we do want to make sure that we're not putting anything that is not natural in their bodies, because again, what goes in their bodies will eventually go in our bodies, because they are harvested for meat. Just like we do the same thing with with our chickens and our turkeys that we've processed this year. We didn't use anything on them. They were all kind of pasture and grass raised. So that's kind of how we like to do things here on the homestead, and we're going to continue to do that as we go forward. But I think this year we've had a lot of learning when it comes to animal care, animal husbandry, just learning different things to look for. And we're not, we obviously aren't going to catch everything, but I think that as we get more experience with this, it's going to be, we'll start noticing things and seeing things that maybe we wouldn't have noticed before. And that's going to be the key going forward. It's just, we got to make sure that we do the research and we do the, we read up on these things, the things that we need to be mindful of or look for in our different animals. But, this next year is going to be another year of homesteading, another year of growth. And so we're looking forward to that.
Well, one of the other things that we need to talk about regarding the lambs is what we're going to do this year, because they are feeder lambs. So in a world of healthy lambs, so let's talk as if they're not sick at all. We were initially going to process the lambs in the spring, because that would be the longest time we could have them before they turn into mutton. So a lamb meat is, very, very tender and high in fat. The older the lamb gets, when it turns into a sheep, the meat is less tender and more gamey. So, not that I don't.
Like people.
Yes.
As you get older, you get a little tougher and gamier.
Are you tougher and gamier since you just had your birthday? You're the tougher and gamier one out of the both of us.
This is true.
So we looked at some things regarding our sheep. One, the feed for winter and what it's going to cost to feed them all winter versus the amount of weight and meat that they will be able to provide for us in the spring. Now it's a guesstimation, right? So there's no hard line, especially since we do have one lamb that's sick. They're gonna, you know, he'll be on the lean side of things.
But I think that changes.
It does change.
That changes our perspective because obviously we don't want to try and just keep Clank barely alive or barely surviving all winter
Right.
and feeding him for nothing.
Right. So, but in a world of healthy lambs, if the lambs were both healthy, feeding them throughout the winter is going to cost more than we're going to get in the meat in the spring by harvesting there. So, both of the lambs we have decided that we're going to harvest right around the same time that we do Minty. For that's one reason why we're going to do it. The other reason is we have to make a decision based off of the condition that Clank is in right now. So there's only so much weight that a lamb can lose before it becomes emaciated and it's no longer good for food, which means essentially we will have wasted that life. And we look at it as because we're raising it for food for ourselves, it is a shame to not care for your animal even up into the point of processing it. So we've decided that we're going to be processing our lambs around the same time as we process Minty. It's way ahead of schedule than we originally planned, but we also think it's going to be the best, not only for our budget, but most of all for the lambs themselves.
Right.
Because of the condition that Clank is in, and though we've removed his salt and is doing that, we have to make this decision. And I think that every homesteader or farmer or someone that's raising animals for food comes across this decision, and it's a mindset really going from these are pets to these are actually our food. The lambs are not pets. They are our food. And we're raising them for that purpose, and so we have to keep that in mind. The quality of meat that we're going to be ingesting, and so on. So we made a decision together of how we want to approach that, and we really think that navigating that choice between when do you fight and pursue a solution, a healthy solution, or when do you call your animal. And in this case, we are pursuing a healthy solution. We do not want Clank to suffer, and so we're doing what we can do within natural resources to care for him. However, we also feel that it's in the best interest of his health that we do call him.
Yeah, certainly don't want to have him suffer or keep him alive just to keep him alive. And I think that's how our approach to animals is. We don't want any of our animals to be suffering or to endure suffering. We always try and strive to make sure that all of our animals get the best quality life that they can while they're here on the farm. And that's how we make our decisions. And we've kind of just come to the realization that it is going to be better for both us and the animals that we do process them here very shortly. So that we can at least have as much of the meat as we can get, but also that there isn't any lingering health issues, and we don't want to lose what we've invested in all this year and having those lambs, because we have invested a lot of time and money into raising them, feeding them, caring for them, making sure that they have everything they need so that they could, with the intention of actually harvesting them for meat.
So the other thing that we wanted to talk with you guys about is Minty. You guys watched us struggle for a few weeks to try and separate the pigs and to get Minty into a trailer, and we had lots of disasters. well, I wouldn't say they're disasters, but I guess
Learning opportunities.
learning opportunities. Nice. So one, we tried to separate our boar from our sow because it was getting close to time for her to go into heat, and we just really struggled with it. And he broke through, a couple cattle panel fences and 4 electric fences and ended up breeding our sow. Now, I don't know how to tell if our sow is actually pregnant, but she's no longer interested, and so our consensus on that is that he did successfully breed her. And so we're going to plan for piglets. Gestation for pigs is 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. So we have 3 months and maybe 3 days to build a farrowing stall, which we'll go into more of that in a different conversation, because we still have a lot of outside projects that we really were hoping to have been wrapped up by now, but we just haven't. We're learning how to do all these things, and so it just takes longer. That being said, we finally did get Minty to go into a trailer, but by the time that took place, we had missed our butchering appointment. We had reset it a couple times and we just couldn't get him in. So we are learning something pretty profound. It's how to move within the blessings that God is providing at that time to reduce the amount of struggling and strife that we experience through, well, as you put, learning opportunities and stuff. And so we came to the conclusion that we're going to be processing Minty ourselves. Now, Edward is actually going to be doing the calling part of all that. Edward's going to be doing the calling part of it, and we're actually going to have somebody come out to the property and teach us how to actually call both our lambs and our Minty, our pig, and then teach us how to do all the cuts and stuff like that. We have a friend that has a professional grade meat grinder, so he's going to come and teach us how to grind up some of that meat into sausage and do some brining for our bacon and stuff like that. So we definitely have some, well, content creating moments coming up.
Yes.
So
That we do.
anyway, we just wanted to give you an update. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to talk about.
No, I think we covered what we wanted to kind of talk about, you know, in regards to the lambs, and obviously updating on Minty, and you know, this is what you do on a homestead. You move forward and you learn as you go, and sometimes it goes according to plan, sometimes it doesn't, but I think we're approaching it from the smartest way that we can see. And you know, as always, I mean, if you guys know something, or like, hey, have you guys tried this, or if you know about this, we're always open and welcome to have you guys put those in the comments. That's the other way that we learn, is just hearing from other people who have done this before and who know more than we do, because there's always people out there that know more than you, and
Or different things, right? Or
Well, yeah.
have creative input.
sometimes there's more than one solution and there's more than one way to go about it. But I think our goal, you know, with our homestead is to make sure that we're doing it the best that we can and operating within God's blessing, and not trying to force and strive and stress to kind of make it how we may desire everything to go a certain way, and maybe that's not what the plan is, you know, and so we need to be able to be flexible with that. I mean, I think we've learned over the course of this year that things, you know, schedules and projects don't always come in on time or on budget or anything like that, but I think the experience of, you know, building projects that we've done this year, just the animal learning curve that we've had this year, and you know, growing, expanding, and preparing for where we want to be. It's just been key for us this year, and you know, I think getting to share all that with you guys and inviting you guys into that process has been super rewarding for us as we, you know, navigate onto this journey. So yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. We just we enjoy having you guys along for this ride. We enjoy sharing this with you, and so yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to our channel and sharing it with your friends and family. We appreciate the support. And we'll talk to you again soon. Maybe we'll do more fireside chats.
Maybe.
Might be a thing. All right, that's a wrap. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day.
Bye, guys.